channel community. So today I'm going to do a entry. I'm not sure how many people have responded to it, but I really love this idea that James Buttery had, the show your sets. James Buttery, great channel, longtime VC members only. But no, James has been doing videos for a long time, and I definitely don't miss any of his. If you don't know James Buttery, he's in New Zealand, and he's into a wide array of music, and seems like a nice dude. Hopefully I get to meet one day. But, and yeah, always shows interesting stuff, and had this idea for the showing your sets, a collection of sorts, or a set. The most famous one he brought up was the Ambient series. And, you know, sub-labels almost, in a sense, like that are doing like the sort of a group of releases that are very specific or about a certain theme, and that's kind of what I'm going to do. I've been meaning to do a focus on this video anyway, so it fits in perfectly with Show Your Sets from James. So I don't have every single release, actually, so it's not a complete set, but it's an almost set. It's 20 releases, and I have 16 of the 20. 2 are CD, and 2 are vinyl that I just haven't gotten or haven't been able to get. But I'm talking about the Darla Records Bliss Out series. We're listening to the Darla, or the Bliss Out #1 Flowchart. It's just called Tenjira. This is a band, I believe we're out of New York, and the label Darla Records was out of New York, and they distribute a whole bunch of labels. They're still kind of active. You can actually order some of the Bliss Out records. Well, the records are all gone from Darla, but you can get some of the CDs still, because a lot of these came as CDs and records. Anyway, Darla Records decided they were going to make a compilation called the Bliss Out compilation, and they wanted to enlist bands who were indie rock or indie artists, shoegaze artists, to make ambient music and blissful music that was more sort of about, you know, ambiance and feeling, and less about sort of like, you know, rock, I guess. Blissful music, relaxing, meditative music. And the first band they asked to do was Flowchart. That's the first one they got back for this proposed comp. And I believe it was this track, even, Nationwide Sleep Disorder, that we're listening to. But I guess they loved it so much that they decided to create a whole series, and they did. They got more music from Flowchart and got this EP out of it. And this is from 1996. It all ranges from about 96 to 2002. And there's 20 releases. And so I'll discuss what, you know, I got into it. I'd known about a lot of these records and the series and the label for many years, but I didn't have any of it. I simultaneously was looking for Windy and Call records. Bliss Out #2, I've shown this before. Antarctica, this is one of my favorite. And I was also trying to complete my American Analog set collection, which both of those artists, including Windy and Carl here, have Bliss Out entries. At the same time, it was like a lining of worlds. One of Stunty's streams, he played Piano Magic, which I'm going to show. And I connected all these dots. I'm like, wait a minute, I got to start collecting these records. So I didn't say too much about it. I saw that a lot of them were cheap, but there's not a lot of copies out there. And all this year I've been collecting them. So I'll probably try to wrap up the series and get all of them, but I'm not going to really worry about the other 4 because they're ones that I don't like as much. But in any case, I found cheap, like, you know, a few of them I found right away. I'll tell you which ones. And there was even a funny one where there was an eBay seller who had 3 of them. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'll get them all from the seller. They had offers on them, and they were cheap. They were like $10, $8. I bought one, they accepted the offer. Or I offered one, they accepted the offer. I think I offered on a second, they countered that offer, and then I offered on the third they had, and then they sent me a request like, hey, I'm kind of already offering low prices on these. I don't think I can accept any more make offers. Like, almost as if they were starting to realize, wait a minute, what's going on with this Bliss Out series? Like, I better not sell all these. To make a long story short, I ended up getting them for good prices from that person. So I got 3 from that one person. And a few others were really hard to get. I had to get abroad, but not expensive. It's just that you had to buy the... Excuse me. It's just that you had to buy the plane ticket. So the records, with the exception of a couple, were not very expensive. But I'm really, really into this series. And like I said, hopefully I'll complete the set. But I just love this idea of bands who already have sort of an ambient or sort of a psychedelic or almost new age quality about them in their music, bringing it full front to the floor with this series. And there's some electronic stuff that's very much dated in the late 90s. Some of it doesn't come off quite right, but I'm going to show them in order, and so you can get an idea what they are, and I'll describe each one just quickly, and we'll move on with our lives. But this is the Bliss Out series. Show your sets. Alright, so as I was saying, yeah, Windy and Carl Antarctica, number 2. This is, I think, their 3rd release, or no, it's early in their discography, but this is one of my favorite records, bar none, and certainly my favorite of the series. The Antarctica track is just a masterpiece of drone and sort of ambient drift. It's such a stillness that this band creates, and in such a simple and deceptive way. Just Windy Weaver, Carl Holtgren doing bass and guitar, some vocal. It's just a dense droning pulse that goes on throughout this thing, and the title track Antarctica is just absolutely exceptional. All the releases, by the way, all the releases sort of well, this one doesn't, it's got Antarctica on the back, but all the releases have similar labels. I'll show you, there's the Darla logo, the little Darla as she's called, on most of them. But anyway, this one has gotten very hard to find. Hopefully, there's some talk about some Windy and Carl reissues. Hopefully they redo this in some way. There's a CD of this one too, but this is number 2 in the series. Windy and Carl out of Michigan, Dearborn, Michigan, or Lansing, Michigan. I always forget which one it is. It had the record store, Stormy Records, a band I got to do a video on them too, because it's been the year of Windy and Carl, band, a duo that I loved way many years ago, and now I'm sort of rediscovering and closing out records I don't have. So number 2, glad I got it. Number 3 in the Bliss Out series, Orange Cake Mix. This is called Silver Lining Underwater. This one has got a 7-inch with it too. This is the logo that's on most of them. There she is, little Darla. But all the labels are pretty similar. This one really reminds me of like a modern day cluster, like a Zuckerzit. Comes with the 7-inch. And yeah, I try to remember where each of them are from, each group. Orange Cake Mix, I think, is a US, yeah, it's a Jim Rayo, American musician, not sure where he's from, but there are a bunch of Windy and Carl CD, or Orange Cake Mix records. A lot of these bands did splits together already, so they kind of were sort of kindred spirits, but this is a great one, very playful, very much feels like that cluster sound. Number 3, Bliss Out, Orange Cake Mix. Number 4 in the series is Amp. This is an excellent one of sort of a Flying Saucer Attack, post-rock, kind of noisy, instrumental. A lot of them are instrumental, not all, but this is the band out of Bristol, Amp, with ties to Third Eye Foundation, Flying Saucer Attack. I know Stunty had gotten this too. But this is called Perception. Is it Preception or Perception? Perception. This is number 4. This one's instrumental, 4-side. This is a double LP, one of the only doubles. But this one's sort of got a bit of a noisier feel to it, a noisier psychedelic. But again, ambient, meditative, beautiful. Number 4, Amp. Number 5 is Füxa. I believe a British group. Just double checking as I go through it. I think so. Randall Neiman is Füxa. There's Windy and Carl splits with Füxa. a lot of this stuff. A lot of these bands were doing a lot of CDs, but luckily the Bliss Out series was mostly vinyl, with the exception of a couple. But this is just two sides, Overture 1 and 2. This is sort of a post IDM sound, I think you might call it, but they've done other kinds of stuff too, kind of space rock. Venoy, Füxa, good band. I don't have any other Füxa stuff, but this is great. Number 6 is Tomorrowland, a band I just discussed. Look at great cover. That duo out of Michigan, another duo out of Michigan, doing sort of gauzy, sort of really great, just really good, simple, minimal drone and ambient music. A lot of this music is similar. There's some variations to it, but this was one of the ones I got cheap, as well as the Füxa. I think I got this for like $5. The amp was maybe 20. This one was like 10 or 12. Tomorrowland is Nick Brockney and Steve Baker. This is from 1997. Does it have a title, this one? I don't think it does. Or Stereoscopic Soundwaves. Tomorrowland. This one's more of a psychedelic rock, more guitar band. Murza, out of Murza, I think, is out of San Francisco. Yeah, and they had one of the members in the band was Glenn Donaldson, who's from many of the projects in the Jeweled Antler collective, which I didn't realize until I was looking into this. But Murza has a few records you can get, based in San Francisco, but not much. 96 to 2001. This was great. Again, this is more of a guitar band. This is another one I got cheap from that eBay seller. Anadromous. Murza. Nice cover. Hopefully they're still cheap. I get the sense that other people were looking for these Bliss Outs at the same time I was. I don't know. Here's a band, another one out of Michigan. This is like a space rock. It feels like a techno or IDM record, but it's elements of that. But this is Transient Waves, Waiting and Waiting. Bliss Out number 8. I think we skipped. Oh no, we're on. So far I have 1 through 8 here. This one, this is one of the more recent ones I've gotten, so this one I've only heard once, but Peaceful Madmen, Rest for the Weary, Always Ascending, Transient Waves, Dearborn, Michigan, 97. Excellent. And here's the American Analog set one I referenced. This was an expensive one. I got this one abroad. This features vocals from a different singer on track 1 and track 2. The other side, like I said, a lot of these are EPs, or long EPs, or some albums. It feels like deconstructed American Analog set with those warm synths that they would do. Like they just sort of almost like they were like songwriting and took some songwriting ideas and stuff they were working on and just pressed it to wax and made it in this series. So this is called Late One Sunday and the Following Morning, American Analog Set, Bliss Out Volume 9. Nice artwork of a drum set, looks like. So that's number 9. Number 10 is one I don't have, and that is Junior Varsity KM. There's a copy up for sale right now, but it's all expensive. This is one of the few that got reissued. Sweet Trip by Halica. No, the artist is Sweet Trip. Halica is the release. This is an expanded edition, actually. So this is a double as well, but the original's a single. They reissued this and expanded it for whatever reason. This is definitely little jungle, little IDM, drum and bass. Nice one. Not my favorite in the group, but happy to have it. Number 11. Sweet Trip, Halica. Yeah, this 2022 reissue, originally from 98. Here's one of the most underrated and one of my absolute favorite, this band Bright, which was out of Brooklyn. I'm just looking up. They actually had a bunch of records on Bada Bing, Other Darlers, Strange Attractors, Audio House. This is another great guitar, psychedelic, ambient, post-rock kind of feel. This got some really great swells on this. This one also was very cheap, maybe $8 to $10. So hopefully it still is. Just want to even check it as we're talking. Maybe we'll hear some of it. This one you can get for $7 right now. Is it in the US? No. Okay, so maybe not, but yeah, the cheapest copy in the US is like 30. But if you live in Europe, 7, 9, 9, 12 euros. I highly recommend this one. This one absolutely knocks my socks off. And let's hear some of it right now. So this is side 2, Bright Blue Christian. I just listened to side 1, so we're listening to side 2. Hopefully you can hear that. Here's the Piano Magic. UK, long-running UK group, one of the, maybe the most prolific in all these in this set. Puts out 13, A Trick of the Sea with Halloween Boat. Oh, I missed that for Halloween. It's tough to describe this band. I guess you'd call them like an experimental indie. They seem like they were really doing their own kind of thing for the time. This is from '98, I think it is. Great cover. I love that ladder rope. This one's got these labels. Almost like a 4AD label. And there's a little Darla. Piano Magic. Yeah, this one was pretty cheap too. I don't know if you guys are interested in these. Just watch them. They'll come your way. This is great. This is the one Stunty also played. Here's the only 10-inch and the record I referenced that was warped and that I tried to fix. And I did fix the warp, but I did it only 1 hour at about 135 degrees, but it added, fortunately, some heat damage. It actually sounds pretty good, but I will replace this. But this is the Cat's Meow out of Australia. A band that did mostly cassettes out of kind of like a C86 or an indie pop. But this is sort of a broken down version of that with the vocals. Yeah, Brunswick, Australia. This is from '99. I like this cover. Sort of feels much like the time like a Bell and Sebastian cover. But a 10-inch that I will need to replace because, yeah, I added some heat damage. So this was volume 12, 14. I missed one. Another one I don't have. Just to keep this sort of consistent. Volume 13 I don't have. Oh no, that was Piano Magic. So I guess we're doing it right. 14. Volume 15. This is another one I took a long time to get, but finally got for the right price. Lilies, a band from like Kurt Heasley, who were on a major label for a minute. We're on different indies. Every record is almost a little different. And this one, he tries to do sort of like some drum machine stuff, and it's very good. Zero population growth. This band is kind of the shoegaze at times. They all do quieter stuff, like, you know, straight indie rock, and then there's this. Bliss Out 15 by the Lilies. I don't know if no one ever really talks about the Lilies. Good band. Volume 16 is one I don't have, but you can actually get this record and this CD direct from Darla. I didn't love it. Maybe I need to revisit. Technicolor, Normal Control Range. There's one I didn't mention here. Oh, Aarktica is coming up. Okay. Okay, volume 17 I do have. And that is this one, a Spanish group, Muse, Aida. Kind of similar to Moom out of Iceland. And this is Monica Vacas and Fran Gallo. This is recorded in 2001. And yeah, these are like little sweets, little instrumentals, little lovely little sort of nuggets, kind of lo-fi. A little similar to like Pram, really, I think. Kind of, anyway. I gotta really listen to this one. But they do have some other records. Again, this is Spanish. Muse is... They call them a Spanish indie rock lo-fi. They had stuff on Aquarella discs. That's the one I was trying to think of. It's a cool one. That's volume 17 in the Bliss Out. And then the last few got kind of spotty for me. 18 was the Aarktica, another sort of dance record. 19 is the one CD I do have by Japancakes. This one did not come on vinyl. Yeah, so let's see. The Technicolor did come on vinyl. Junior Varsity KM did. I guess I'm missing 5, I think. Yeah, it's 5 I'm missing. So I have 15 of the... Yeah, I think I'm counting right. 15 of the 20. Anyway, Japancakes out of Athens, Georgia on the Technicolor label. Very much like connections to the Elephant Six stuff. Very much maybe the southern version of like Tortoise. Definitely coming at, you know, instrumental music from that same kind of perspective. Nice one. They do have some stuff that you can get on vinyl. This one they didn't do. Volume 19. Bliss out Japancakes. It's called Belmondo. And volume 20 is Manual with Jess Carr. I don't really know what that is. That's only on CD. That's called The North Shore. That was the last one in 2004. I believe you can get that from Darla Electric. It says that that's an electronic and ambient record. Yeah, it's funny. This one was from 2002, and it took them 2 years to put out the last one. But anyway, that's been the Darla Bliss Out series for the Show Your Sets. You know, I mean, if you're into ambient music and you like indie musicians or indie rock or sort of underground music, I think this is a logical place to go. So I recommend the Bright, Whitney and Carl. I love the American Analog Set one. The Flowchart one is incredible. Amp, as well as the Murza. I mean, I really love them all. I prefer a few, but in any case, I found it fun to collect this series. So that's what we got. Darla's Bliss Out series. Hope you enjoyed that. And if anyone's got an idea for a Show Your Set for Mr. Buttery, make it happen. Take care.